And you know how I feel. 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 You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oops, something's wrong. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a look. Oh. That's what's up. Sweet. Okay, well, since you're just about barely awake, we should definitely get going then. So let me make sure everything is good to go, and I think it is. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right, sweet. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Let's see. Read there? There we go. Sort of. There we go. Okay. Still figuring this out. So happy Thursday to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I have had a good day behind the scenes. Faye, I'm so glad that you're here from Portugal. Everybody's important, but you really, I mean, that's a long way away, and I know it's really late there. So I'll try to be super quick here. But it's nice to have you, Faye, and it's Claire and Jackie and Jennifer. I really appreciate the attendance. I'm curious what will happen through the summer. So I want to bring this up. I hope you can hear me okay. I want to bring this up. Some of you kind of pay me in advance, and some of you pay me after. Meaning that like you give donations that are obviously bigger than one class, and sometimes you give them ahead of time and sometimes you give them behind. So for those of you that sometimes donate like to keep it going, I want to commit to another 3 months of the classes, and we'll continue the jams as long as they get a certain level of attendance. If I'm worried about the summer, I wouldn't blame people for not, you guys for not, being able to be by the computer at Sunday. So we'll just see how it goes. But at least the 2 classes, so far the attendance and the viewership is been pretty steady. So I feel good about this, and I really do appreciate your donations. I don't really know how to handle it. I don't know if you want me to comment on air, but just thank you. I'm getting them, I'm receiving them, and I really appreciate it. So tonight's an actually kind of a by request night, because Tara, who is there with Rex on the ground, came up to me and said she would like to get the whole paddle break thing, or I think she said something like, get this thing. And so what I thought I would do tonight is, and I looked up on our schedule, and it's been 2.5 months. Hoopy smiles, sweet. It's been 2.5 months since we've talked about breaks and paddles, or at least breaks. And so I thought, since this is the foundations class, we'll go over that. Now, I know a lot of you are, not literally, but just figuratively HoopPath black belts. And so just so you understand, if you were taking this class live with me, you and I would have an unspoken understanding that you would just be doing whatever kind of breaks you want to. The idea in the way that I've taught is to make it accessible to beginners to a degree, and then just trust that the people that are better than beginner, will use that opportunity to understand that it's a time and it's a space for you to work on that thing, right? But you're not limited to just what I'm showing. I've got a few things written down, but for the most part, we're just going to flow with it. And you can definitely ask questions. I've got a new way of seeing you guys, so I think there will be no problem for me to read the comments as they're coming in. Please, since this is a Breaks and Paddles class, it is more of a tech class. So if you have a specific question, go ahead and and write it in for me, and I'll try to get to it. Now, the other thing I want to say about this is that, you know. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Wow. Catherine, Tara likes your idea a lot. All right. We'll see about that. The only problem with 11 o'clock is that it's 11 o'clock in the morning. But all right. Whew, you scared me a little bit, but Tara's definitely into the idea. So, so when it comes to breaks, I had never seen anybody do breaks before. I had never heard the name breaks before. So in my story, breaks came from me. But that doesn't mean that somebody else would have, I'm sure people were reversing it or whatever. I just popularized it. I had never seen it before. And I think what I popularized wasn't the move, but was using it as a way to flow with it. And so tonight, that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on some straight up technique, make sure that you know the difference between a break and a paddle, because I don't know if the hoop community does anymore, and I can explain that later. We're going to go over breaks, we're going to go over paddles, we're going to keep it fun. It's going to be kind of a techie, it'll be like a 50-50 class. Like I'll be showing you some stuff, and then you can fire questions away, and then I'll just be hitting some of my favorite breaks and then making sure that I get. No, the other thing is I don't name breaks, right? Like in HoopPath, which is, when I say that, I mean in the course that I teach, we don't have names, and it's just cause. And so like in HoopPath, you would explain a move by the components that made the move, like second tree break, which would mean that you broke the hoop with your second tree. Okay, and there's implications in that. So there might be names for some of the stuff that I'm going to be teaching tonight. And the other thing I wanted to say is that people are so much better at breaks than I am now. Like I do not claim to be the best breaker. I lost the title of fastest breaker like within a year of introducing it to people, and I have no ownership of paddles or breaks, right? Like I just, I was an early teacher on the scene. All right, so I want to get going with this. And all right, we're going to start off tonight with kind of a faster sway song, and a little bit faster. Oh, we should have a break battle on Zoom. That'd be awesome. Jennifer, I like that spirit there. Keep that energy. Okay, let's get going. Again, this song's a little bit more upbeat than I normally start with, but I think it will be okay. Welcome, Lauren. It's good to see you. I don't know if you've been here in a while or just haven't been commenting, but it's good to see you. Check in. All right, hopefully. Audible breath in. As always, let me know if the mic is loud enough or too loud. Well, it's nice to have you back. If you're new to my classes, I start every class off with free form movement. I like to think of it as me time. Sway is better for me when I indulge it. When I take advantage of the freedom that it's offering me. Because to sway is just to move the way your body wants to right then in that moment. There's no should. There's no supposed to. It's just you being a kid again. You pretending, you feeling. Audible breath in. Tonight, before we get going, I invite you to check in with your 8 or 9-year-old self. And think about what they want it to be when they grew up. I wanted to be an NFL football player or a stand-up comedian. What did you want to be? Because I bet whatever it was will touch a very sweet part. If you really want to deepen the experience, you can really bring conscientiousness to your breathing. Really focusing or concentrating on breaths in and breaths out. Audible breath in. Oh. Oh, thanks, Alex. Just read your comment. Thank you for that. Nice, Jennifer. Well, you are. You made it. You achieved your goal. Okay. So, to get us ready, let me move into. All here we go. So to get us ready for our breaks and paddles class, I'm going to find my hoop, which is always helpful. Now, so here's the deal. I've been breaking for a long time, and it was the first thing that anybody ever wanted to learn from me. And so I have been teaching this a long time. Doesn't make me the best teacher or whatever, but the stuff that I'm going to offer tonight, it has been like sort of sharpened or honed from experience. So I know sometimes when we hear advice, we can be resistant to it, even if we don't realize it. But this is a piece of advice that when I was on the workshop tour, sometimes people would be resistant to, it seemed like. But I promise you that this is the most crucial piece of advice I can give you about how to make your breaks really tight, especially if you have a big hoop, okay? So what I want you to do right now is just put your hoop on the ground, okay? And what I want you to feel is this, maybe I should, well, I don't want to change cameras just yet, but oh, there I go. Okay. Well, but what I want you to feel is this twist right here. And I want you to do it long enough, okay? And try to keep maybe the same distance between your elbows. You're probably doing that always or anyway right now, but I really want you to sort of feel that pivot that runs through the core. Because I really credit breaks and paddles with or especially breaks, with helping strengthen my back. And so I think if you do this long enough, you'll feel it. And if your arms start to go a little bit numb, you can shake them out. In fact, we can try this swing, this twist one more way, where I'm going to just sort of let my arms go. But then what I want to do, and this might be a little tricky, but is I want to slowly learn how to apply a break. So I'm swaying my arms back and forth. I'm letting them get kind of high, but then I want to break, right? So they're getting to a point here, and then I'm breaking them back. Do I keep seeing Monday? Yeah, it's Thursday. Okay, cool. Okay. Now, I want you to grab your hoops for me. And then we're going to use a technique, and if you know this technique, it's fun. Tara, you're going to have to probably orient that way. Oops. Bring the music up a notch here. Oh, shucks. Oh, okay, sorry. Huh, that's weird. I think Twitch, maybe I was having problems with them today. Okay, so here's what I want you to try. This twisting motion that we were just doing, we're going to use the hoop now kind of as like a windsock or, like a flag or something to really let us see this movement, okay? It doesn't really, Tara just asked if it mattered the size of the hoop. It doesn't really matter. In fact, some ways like the big hoop might help you right now, but you should do what you want to do, switch off, because I've noticed that some students, with the equal experience, one has better luck with the small, one has better luck with the... Oh, I don't tape my hoops, I just sand my hoops. Tara's reading your comments. I just sand my hoops, and actually that's what I love about the Trinity Star hoop, is just that sand stays on there for so long. Okay, so I want to focus on, though, before we get too lost here, is this twist and generating flight with this twist here, right? Like I can even just keep the hoop square against my stomach here, just pushed into me, and still create that twist, right? If you are feeling it, you are probably going to be feeling it in the abs. Not just the point of contact, but the actual feel, because it's like I'm cutting through the air. I'm trying to hone that boom, boom, boom. Okay, so then if I let go with one hand, this is a move we've done before, but this is more of a warm-up move. This is where I'm passing the hoop across. I catch it in front of me here, there, it comes back here. We're using it tonight, though, to open that twist. And then you'll realize that the quicker the twist. Oh, one thing that helps some people is to not lean over their work when they're doing this, if that makes any sense. Not to lean over it too much, but instead of like I'm down here like this, but to pull back. This is advice I always have to give myself because I tend to hunch anyway. But I'm pulling back. And so once I get this twist, you'll start to feel the hoop really burst off like super fast around you. And you can start to carry that burst all the way around. It's like the twist generates high velocity, and high velocity means that the hoop looks really flat. Then I can start to add sticky breaks to this, where I just let the hoop bounce from one hand to the other. I keep it in one hand, but let it bounce from one side to the other. These are called knock breaks, but I don't know if you need a name for everything, but these are knocks. And then I start to, play with and get cute with my hand up here, and I can start to get cool effects. And if I'm into DJing, I can drop the other hand on the table here, work the fader. But honestly, as not just your hoop teacher, but as a movement teacher for you, what we're really working on and what might tire you out tonight is this twist. Because this twist creates so much power that you become just this breaking badass. You will break hoops in half with the power that you can generate once you develop the twist. And then we'll go ahead and take this upstairs. We've done this one before. But to take it upstairs, like I'm holding the hoop with my hand here, there. I'm going to break at the elbow, send it across and into the other hand. And then I add this twist to it. Do you see how quickly my hoop tightened? Now in the beginning, you're probably going to want to use grip, but it's totally unnecessary. And one of the ways that I like to hold the hoop on reverses in general is to hold my hand like smushed against the inside, to really like push it. Maybe my first finger, or for me, I like to do the middle finger there, but whatever. And then the other fingers can just sort of come and just sort of be there in case everything goes wrong. But you don't really need as much grip as you might realize. Okay, so I'm here. Started off, I'm here. I don't know if you can see my grip there, but I'm not really applying any, really. And mostly it's just on my wrist. Oh, Michelle, sweet. Okay, but again, I know it's easy to lose focus, and maybe you hate this, but if you can just really, find your enjoyment in this twist, whatever that looks like for you, you'll definitely feel it tomorrow morning. You'll definitely feel it. Okay. All right. I hope this song doesn't get us kicked off Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, check us out on YouTube. If you want to keep watching, YouTube is where to go, or Twitch. But most of my friends don't have Twitch, it seems like. So we're on the way. So since we're doing breaks tonight, breaks are almost always, well, we just did some off-body breaks, but now we're going to go into on-body breaks. So I'm going to give you a song to kind of warm up and do your thing. You can hoop anywhere you want to. I would keep it on the core. Obviously, I can't see you, but we're going to warm up the core before we start breaking the hoop all over the place. Hey, Tiff. It's good to see everybody. I may have named the class wrong. While we're warming up, you can kind of see behind me a reverse and then a paddle. The paddle is there. My hands are inside and they're pushing out. Sweet, Amy! Nice! I was hoping you make it. And then that's a reverse there on, this, well, whatever. Round and round and round and round and round. Now remember, you can take the hoop wherever you want to. I personally, even after all these years, I love to warm up with waist tubing. Waist tubing is my jam. I just love it. I put a blindfold on, I relax.
I hurt myself as well. Is there any way for me to carry on?
If you are into waist tubing and you're doing it now, or even if you're doing it on the shoulders, you can play with the current that you're in. You can play with the current that you're in. Like right now, my hoop is traveling to the left, counterclockwise. And I can try cutting where I turn against it, right? And I can try stalling where I turn with it. If I turn against the rotation of the hoop, that's called cutting. If I turn with it, that's stalling.
I hurt myself as well.
Again, you could be anywhere. I'm keeping it on the waist on purpose. Now, one thing I'm going to invite you to do, your arms are going to be tired tonight. You're going to be tired in cool places, right? But I want you to keep the hands active. And even if you struggle to do anything with the hands while you're hooping, just run through the numbers, whatever. Because breaking is hand-eye coordination, and believe it or not, you're not just stuck with what you were born with. You can get better at it. All right.
If I leave you.
Okay. So we're going 3 minutes on the core warm-up. We'll do maybe another minute and a half, and then we'll move in. I would definitely try your second current if you haven't already. I probably should have asked you to do it sooner, but second current, here's the thing with breaks. If you are cheating the current, it kind of shows up. And what I mean by that is, like, if you can't really hoop in the direction that you're reversing to and you're reversing immediately out of that, it kind of shows up. And so it's kind of cool. Breaks can be a really cool way to learn your second current in shoulders, because you can send it up, but before it falls to the ground, you just reverse it back. Since we are doing shoulders, I'm going to practice some shoulders. I just realized I should follow my own advice here. This is turning against the current on shoulders. This is turning with the current on shoulders. This picture behind me is from Burning Man, and I totally cannot, it makes me like kind of homesick right now. All right. Okay. I think most of you that have been watching, or that are watching, and at least the ones that are commenting, probably have enough experience that we don't have to go too deep into what breaks are, because I don't want to burn up too much time on this. But a break is when I break the momentum of the hoop. That's all it is. That's all it is. It doesn't even mean I have to send it back. No, most of the time, a break is also a reverse because the person sends it the other way. But it doesn't have to be. I could do breaks without ever reversing it, right? Now this would be a 1-2 break, like 1-2, right? I can try to do it at the same time. That's a little bit more technical probably, or the 1-2. Okay, but these are breaks that do not include a reverse of direction, right? So you're reversing nothing. So it's good to remember that like when you're in a break, it just means you stop the hoop. Like I could break and fold out of it, right? There's loads of things. Okay, so what we're going to try to do right now is get on perfect breaks together with each other, and then it'll be the runway that you take off of in your break practice. Because what I want you to do is I want to play a song, let you just break, do all your breaks. I'll be talking to the beginners a little bit, but you can just go with the breaks. I might keep the music down just a little bit so you can hear me. So for instance, like if you had 1 million workshops with me, you could just start going into your break fits, just one break after another. But if you want to, follow me on my path, here it is. The main thing that most people don't do on the break is they don't twist. And then when you don't twist, you don't get the full advantage of twisting into the power of that leg. Like I twist and I'm twisting into something, and that's that leg. And so then when I twist back out of that, that's a lot of power. It is like a comfortable and healthy way to sort of like load a spring. And so when I go into these breaks and I think like that, you see how quick the break gets there? Right? I'm sending it into my core and back again. Now on the way, sometimes I'll put a little grip on the hoop, okay? On the way, sometimes, especially a hoop this size or bigger, a little grip will help, right? I'm breaking, break. You know what happens in breaking, we're just gonna keep flowing from one thing to the other. What happens in breaking is that you actually start to develop a touch where you're slowing it down before you ever stop it. It's not so much of a knock, it's more like just a sort of super fast slowing down, right? I'll show you what I mean. This is me sort of slowing the hoop down, slowing it down, right? Like my hand is getting out in front of the hoop, the outside wall, and it's sending it back. And this is one of those places where a particular technique, hoop like breaking, can really up your hoop game everywhere because it's hand-eye coordination. And that's what you're working on right now. As you're trying these breaks, this is hand-eye coordination, right? You are teaching, your sense of touch is telling your mind where the hoop is. You're getting ahead of it or behind it, and that's what's creating the break. Again, you could be doing your own set of breaks right now, whatever you want. Okay, I'm just showing this for people that want to stay with me. I'm gonna go 2 hands on the hoop at the waist. I'm definitely gonna use some grip on this, but this will really force me to get this arm, what we call our AM arm, all the way around. So I'm gonna go here, there, here. I'm going both hands on the hoop, more or less at the same time, at the same spot. See how I got this twist? It's like I'm loading up. Actually, I'm just noticing right now that I'm getting a lot of momentum from just lowering instead of raising up into my reverse. I'm lowering into it, and of course coming back up a little bit. All right, that should be getting the heart rate going. Nice. Okay, so I don't want to, we're doing good. I don't want to burn us out though, so let's go ahead and bring it up to the shoulders, because this is where most breaks happen. I think what we'll do is work on shoulders a second. Maybe we'll take let's sort of break from the core and then finish off with some more core. Because I definitely want to talk about paddles. So breaks at the shoulders, you know, if you have so much power at the shoulders that within the shoulders that you don't always have to be super rooted to pull shoulder breaks off, right? You're pretty strong to be handling that up there, right? But you still need footwork. You still do need some like foot connection. So when you go to make your breaks at the shoulder, if you're a total beginner, I'll explain the break in a second. But as you go to make it, find a foot, and I recommend you find the foot of the hand that you're breaking with. So if you're breaking with your right hand, your right foot. Left hand, whatever. Because a lot of times what that will do is it'll kind of create these more like 4 points of light, like a point on each wrist or in your hands, and then 2 points in your feet. And your body kind of sees that. Like I'm feeling my feet right now. You know, and you can, if you weren't moving your feet before, you can kind of ease into that conversation. All right, we can come back down. You can shake out the hands if you're getting a little whooped. Feel free to ask questions. I don't want to burn you guys out, but most of this is core stuff. So we're going to go back into it. I'm going to hone a little bit of details on these breaks, and then I really want to hit paddles. So remember when I was saying that you get out in front of the hoop? You really want to get out in front of the hoop with your hand, and you'll watch my hand is going to swoop up. I turn with it, and then I turn back and bring my hand towards me. So as it's going around me, I'm going to do this with my right hand. It's going to the right. As that happens, I'm going to fly my hand up, right? Like if I carried that to a full stall, you guys could see what I'm talking about. So this is like if I do a full stall with my hand always slightly in front of it, right? That's not that good, but it's hard to in slides, right? But that's what's happening in the sort of in a smaller space, right? That I'm turning with it. You see that? And so what that relieves is like banging the hoop around, which is fine. That's a style, right? I used to do that style. But for some people, they have trouble keeping the hoop flat. And the way you keep the hoop flat is you generate as much force as quickly as you can. And that's why I've been talking about this spin back and forth, or this twist back and forth. We call that the samurai twist. But that twist back and forth, however you make it happen, helps the hoop stay flat. The flatter the hoop, the easier it is to break. It's hard to break a wet noodle, right? But when the hoop is moving at a good clip and you've got good pace on it, and then we'll throw, since it's getting a little bit late, I'm going to throw a little bit more technique in here. I say this every single time, so I know that those of you who have seen this probably are tired of me saying this, but when you start to break the hoop, right, you'll probably want to keep your elbow tucked into your side. It'll be kind of stuck to your day, probably from being protective, right? But if you can get it out, then you can start to use your arm to help pin the hoop and then stop it with your hand, and it never touches the core at all. Right? And so if I free this up, let me see, I'll free that up, come up there, and then bring the elbow up instead of this. Do you see the difference? If I had the red X, I would red X that right now, okay? And like, to be true, you can totally break like this. Do you see what I'm doing? But I would add to that, and I think it makes it a little bit quicker and a little bit funner, if you bring the elbows up from here to here, and I'm really pinning the hoop in there and making the twist there. Lean back a little bit, helps flatten the hoop out for you. Danielle Carr, sweet. Yeah, it kind of does, actually. So Danielle just said, does pulling your shoulder back help flatten the hoop? It does, and one of the reasons it does is because as you pull the shoulders back, you actually create a nice surface for the hoop to roll around, and that can really help smooth everything out, right? That's why I say, like, if you can, instead of hunching over the hoop like this, if you can pull back, you see how my chest becomes rounder and rounder? Now, I'm not going over my chest, of course. I'm going over, like, from, just here to here. The other thing is that I don't know. All right, we'll hold that. I'll hold that thought back. Okay. Let me make sure we're okay. Okay, so there is something I want. Yeah, it definitely helps. Definitely helps. If my answer was too long and the music was too loud, I definitely think it helps instead of hunching. The thing is, though, I've watched people learn how to be badasses in all kinds of weird postures and stuff like that. Your body will learn it. Okay, yeah. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about paddles now. And a paddle is the opposite of a break, but it helps to not always think of it the same way, because you might think opposite and think, well, okay, everything that makes a break, I'll do that, the opposite of that. It's not quite that way. Like, it's only opposite in that it continues the momentum, but it doesn't employ the same rooting, and it doesn't employ the same sort of twist and all of that sort of stuff. So if I'm up here on the shoulders, or if I'm at the waist, like if you can't shoulder hoop yet, this is when you throw you drop your hand into the hoop, and you give the hoop just a little push as it comes across. And you'll know you got your first paddle, even if you're doing it correctly, or even if you seem to be doing it correctly. You'll know you got your first paddle when you feel this kind of sort of magnetic pull and then push. Like you will realize, like, oh, I just hit that in rhythm, and I carried the hoop, and I gracefully put it back on the body, right? And it's a hand timing thing, but you'll know. And like the thing is that to get good at paddling, you kind of need to learn that feeling, and that feeling is you'll feel this kind of gravitational pressure, like you'll feel physics at work. All right. Okay, now if I come up to the shoulders, which is where most people paddle, a paddle is a push, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the reverses. I'm going to bring my elbows up as high as I can at first, so that when I paddle, I'm not paddling down, I'm paddling more out. Okay? And the elbow will make the difference there. Like, instead of paddling down, I'm going to have my elbow high and kind of paddle out. It'll be a little bit easier for me to get that angle, because what a lot of people don't always get at first when they're trying to learn them is that it is a push up. There is like a little bit of push up. If I had my red arrows, I would be pushing up towards the corner of the wall there, because there is just a little bit of push. Now, too much and you'll flatten the hoop like we did last week, right? But just enough, and you'll keep it going. And then, Danielle, about the openness, especially in paddles. If you pull those shoulders way back, right, like if you want to keep them going, if you pull them way back, you'll create this nice, smooth surface for the hoop to roll across in your shoulders. And then what you lose a little bit by keeping it that rigid, you make up for with the paddles. All right, let's try some music. Oh, I just changed my mind on the music. Hopefully I can find it. No, I cannot find it. Okay, that's okay. All right, here we go. All right, it's a high energy song, but you don't have to move your body that crazy. This will be our one paddle. And then I'm going to show you the link together move, and then we'll call it a night here. Now when I paddle, I'm trying to get at the shoulders. I'm getting my hands up under the current. My hands are coming up, palms towards me. So I'm as flat as I can with my hands so that I can slip up under that current. Because what you're doing is you're not trying to trip the hoop, right? Like imagine you're trying to help somebody run. You're trying to push under their foot in a good way to get them going, right? And so instead of keeping my arms way out, I keep them, they slip up into the hoop and push out. What is up, fearless ringleader? No, Tara asked me a question. Maybe I should put a mic on her eventually, maybe next week. But if the hoop dies on you, you're too gooey for you're too gooey for good right now. Like you might can figure it out later. But if the hoop dies on a paddle, that means you're holding on to it too long. And so a paddle in the beginning is like, Bruce Lee was known for this mythic 1-inch punch. That's kind of what a paddle is. It's a quick sort of push of energy and you get your hand off of it as fast as you can, or your forearm. Oh, sweet. And Mona, you can, it'll be available in HD at about 7 o'clock your time, probably tomorrow night. It takes me forever. I have the worst internet, but. So these are paddles. This is a paddle stall. Like I could keep paddling even when the music chills. This is a paddle stall. I'm just technically holding the hoop on my hands. As long as I keep turning, the hoop's open. And then, you know, when the beat drops, I'll throw it, actually probably before the beat drops because I'm getting dizzy. And I'll show you one more thing with paddles, and then we'll link them together and call it a night. So when you want to... Okay, Alex, you're welcome. Hey, Bonnie. Okay, so when I am working on paddles, once you get one, then I recommend that you try to do it with two hands at the same time. You know, you can even make a nice clean A. Palms should be facing you. If you want to do it my way, they should be facing you. Nice. And then you're going to start to feel like cool when it happens. You're not going to be freaking out that you're on it. And then you can start to be a little bit cuter with it. And I can just paddle with my left arm. Paddle with my right arm. Oh, this is so important. I've been paddling forever. So for me to go continuous paddles, it's not as big a deal because I've literally been doing it for like 15 years, okay? But it's not a good way to learn. Like when I'm asking you to do these paddles, I recommend that if you're trying one, do one, right? Just get one that solid feeling like I'm talking about where you made good contact with the hoop, you didn't lose any momentum. Do that first. Then once you get, any level of comfort, that could be later tonight or whatever, then you can start to be cute with it. And I can paddle with only my left arm, or paddle with only my right arm. No, in HoopPath terms, that's AM and PM. All right. Okay, so I want to make sure that I get to this because Tara's whole request I left 5 minutes for, but I think I've set you guys up for success with this if you haven't been doing this already. Okay, so remember when I was talking about getting your hand in front of the hoop, okay? what you're going to do, when you're going to do, what we're going to do, oh, this is what we're going to learn. Okay? And I have already taught you all the components. I'm not saying they'll come together, but I've taught you all the components of this so far. So when I'm here, when it's going to be going around me, now you don't have to do this rooted. I always do it rooted. That means my feet don't move. But you could do it like, with big steps. In fact, that might help you even. But here's how it works. Your PM hand, that's the hand that the hoop is coming towards. Your second tree, here's my AM, here's my PM, that's the hand the hoop is coming towards. That hand goes out and stops the hoop. When it makes the stop, or as it's making the stop really, you come up and then you'll see it in the video, or you see it in the image behind me right there. The hand comes in and it's ready to paddle. Then the hoop, you return the hoop to the body, but it hits your paddle arm here, like hits this arm, and then that arm pushes it on its way, right? So it's like as I'm making the break, I'm here and I'm setting up. It's like I'm creating this kind of springboard trampoline thing, right? Boom, right? So I stop it, boom, stop it, boom. And then kind of like the paddles, it's good to do this just one successful one first. So what you're going to try to do, if you're going to the left, you're going to break it with your left hand. Right hand comes up close to the core, and you're going to twist and push. Don't freak out about putting too much energy into that paddling arm, right? All right, let's put some music on and... Actually, I'm going to play this one. I don't know if it's going to get us kicked off or not, but I can't remember if the lyrics are great. If the lyrics are bad, I'll turn it off. But sometimes, oh, sweet. Sweet. Oh my God, that makes me feel so good. All right, so here's what we're doing. I'm breaking, bringing my hand up, turning, bringing the hoop towards me, and then pushing off, okay? So it looks like this. It's actually just going one. It's not 1.5. I think it's 1, but I could be wrong. I've never counted. Tara's asking me how many revolutions does it go. I think it just, sometimes you can tape your hoop if you want to find out, put a piece of tape on it. I think it's just going 1 though. No, what I like to do, y'all, is, because I'm a fitness guy, is I like to twist with this and really, Aaron, sweet. But I like to get my twist on this, that twist we were doing before, and do you see how tight my hoop gets? It almost gets like too going, right? Like it's almost too much energy, right? Can I get a big booty girl, yeah? Girl, what's up? Can I get a sweet, Lauren. Sweet. Yeah, you can see in the bird's eye camera down there in the corner kind of what's happening here. Now, it's not even really hitting my back. And again, this kind of goes back to getting the elbows away from the core somewhat, right? Like breaking with the elbows stuck here creates kind of awkwardness. Boom. But you still let me grab it. Grab a piece of that chubby stuff. 'Cause I just can't get enough. Oh, that big butt. So I'm coming up, I stop the hoop, hand comes up, right? You can think, sometimes it helps to think like 1, 2 or something. Like I could go 1, 2, 1, 2. I was like, when can I get with you? Trusting me, I won't play you for. Yeah, well, that's cool, Jackie. It just, that's the thing. I'm glad I mentioned that because, I think because, I go on the road and I demo this, people think that like the very first time I ever did it, I was just going off, but I wasn't. It was actually, a paddle was really just kind of an emergency endeavor. Right, and it wasn't until a sunny day with Tool that I really turned it into like breaks and paddles. You are my pretty girl. You are my big booty girl. for those of you that have been doing this for a while, you probably already do this one, but you can lock hands and do a sticky break. That's pretty cool. So instead, I'm coming up, but instead of reversing it, I'm just going to lock up here, just hold them together, and then get that reverse in there. You know, it's kind of cool because you can create some like misdirection with it. Ooh. You know, but I'm holding it. It's not a hug break because I'm not pulling it all the way towards me. Sweet.
I'm a nice dude with some nice dreams.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
See these ice creams, no bachelor, $1 million bowl. That's whiter than what's
okay, guys. I think we will move into a free hoop, and then you can fire questions away if you want. We'll just keep this song going.
Cheat on your man, run that's how you get at his head. Killer with the beat, I know killers in the street, but they still to make you feel like chinchilla in the heat. So don't try to run up in my ear talking all that raspy shit, trying to ask me shit. When my niggas say your best, they ain't gon' pass me shit. You should think about it, take a second. Matter of fact, you should take 4B and think before you fuck with little skateboard P.
Again, thank you everybody for doing this. We will be back on Sunday. Yeah, it's so good for the abs. I mean, it hurts like hell, but it's good. Thank you guys so much. We will have a jam on Sunday. I know that's a special day for a lot of people. It'll be a special day for me, but that's what we're going to do. And if you can be here, that's great. We'll have the Zoom wall going. If you want to do the Zoom wall, you just jump on. Thank you guys so much for tonight. We're going to free hoop it out of here.
But y'all knew that. The big boss dog, yeah, I had to do that. I keep a blue flag hanging on my backside, but only on the left side. Yeah, that's the crib side. Ain't no other way to play the game the way I play. I cut so much you thought I was a DJ.
You guys are very welcome.
Double G. I can't fake it, just break it. And when I take it, see, I specialize in making all the girls get naked.
Nice, Tara's got it. Sweet.
Inside, we got a world premiere right here, now get lost. So don't change the diesel, turn it up a little. I got a living room full of fine dime presents. Waiting on the pistol, the diesel, and the shizzle. G's just visit. Now, ladies,
Burning Man. Oh my God. Take my money. Wait. Yeah, we're not going there. Sorry, y'all. That's not happening. That is not happening. Sorry, that's not happening. It's too much for me right now. Okay, actually, yeah, we'll just do we'll do 2 more songs and call it a night. Thank you guys. If you have to bounce, I totally understand that. I appreciate it. We will be back again 4 o'clock on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Sweet, Faye. Thank you for staying up late with us and joining us. Thank you, Jennifer, as always. You're so rock solid. You bring such good energy. Thank you, guys. Sweet, Lauren. Lauren, you hoop so much. It's awesome. Inspiring. Sweet, Lauren. Take care. Sweet, Benjamin. Thank you. Yeah, I've been working hard on this. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate it. We're going to move into our last song. I'm going to try to see if I can hand walk the whole song. But anyway, thank you guys so much. And we will be fading to green after this next song. So if you want to stretch or something, you can. That's funny too.
Trust in you. Can you put your trust in me? I put my trust in you. You put your trust in me. Yeah. I used to say a prayer every night and wake up that I had you. When you look at me and bite your lip. For you, losing you will be hurting me more than I am prepared to. I just wanna color every moment with you, color every moment with you, baby. Can I put my trust in you? Can you put your trust in me? Put my trust in you. You put your trust in me.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night.